Yeah, sexy beats call me Nate. Yeah, I got too much sauce on my plate. Yeah, Devin Owens with the left hand. Shout out D Money from the West, man. E Mac on the true boy. Yes, white Jesus, stay blessed, man. It's about time, ain't it, Johnny? But I can't name like everybody. Shout out Big Germ, Katrina Allen, Val Jenkins, Wysocki, Sepple Payu, Matt Dollar, Sarah Holcomb. I say, boy, stop me. Jessica Weiss, that girl is a beast. They crushing it like Double G. Yeah, yeah.
All right, what's up, guys? This is Will Schusterick. I'm with Idris Garcia. Today we're going to be doing some social distancing commentary. We got the 2020 Frostbite Open, Jared Neal, myself, Matt Dollar, Michael Gibney, and Colin Forehand.
It's going to be a really great round one here. It looks like a couple of former Frostbite champions. Matt Dollar in 2016, yourself in 2017, Jared Neal back-to-back in 2018 and 19. It's going to be a good round.
And all right, we are off on hole number one, 288 feet, par 3. Averages just below a par at 2.79. We got that great drone footage right there. Like you said, Jared Neal won it the last 2 times. Is that right?
Yeah, 18 and 19 it looks like.
Yeah, and I think he's actually did a come-from-behind victory on those 2, shooting the hot round, the second round, to come back and win.
It looks like he went with the turnover there. You're going with the sidearm. Looks like you can access it either way. Nice little uphill shot to start the day. It looks a little chilly out there. You're a little bundled up.
Yeah, you're going to see a couple different versions of the people out there. You're going to see beanie, hoodie. You're going to see hoodie with no beanie. You're going to see long sleeve with beanie. And then you're going to see one with just a regular t-shirt. And we had a very wide mix of temperatures out there as we just watched Matt Dollar throw a nice turnover to give himself a look at a putt. Here's Michael Gibney, Team Prodigy from Mobile, Alabama. From Daphne, I should say, from Daphne, Alabama.
I mean, just a legend down there in those parts, I'm sure.
That's right. And then Colin Forehand, who's also from the Mobile area now. And you can see that wind the first couple holes we were playing, I remember it just coming in pretty strong. Surprisingly, for a shorter course like this, it does get really windy, especially around this time of year. But the temperature could not make up its mind while we were out there. It was really cold in the morning. The sun comes out, and if the sun was out with no wind, it was pretty warm. And with the wind, it became cold enough where you wanted a beanie and a hoodie and to be bundled up.
Gibney giving you a good run there. Looks like he hit some metal. Here's Jared from long distance as well. He's in the shade, so probably the cooler part of the hole there.
Yeah, and Jared is definitely known for his spin putting and always wanting to run at the basket as best as he can. As he misses that comeback putt. And
brutal roll away there.
Stop going places. Just settle down right there.
Here is Dollar. Also very well bundled, and he converts on the birdie. First birdie of the day. That's a good feeling there.
Yeah, that's a great pickup. Even though it is 288 feet, plays fairly easy going for the sidearm or the turnover. But it's just always nice to get your first birdie out of the way.
Here you are with the straddle putt, also connecting on the birdie. So that'll be 2 birdies on the first hole.
Yeah, it's not.
Jared can come in and clean this one up.
Yeah, Jared just trying to get going. Again, it is the first hole. There's a lot of holes out here at the Opelika course that are easily birdieable. That's a word, birdieable. But it's also easy to get in early trouble off the tee, and then you have to kind of struggle to get up and down to the basket. They added a couple holes to this course to accommodate for more players, and then there's a couple holes that are no longer there anymore that we're going to be seeing a little bit changes compared to previous years.
Nice. Moving into hole number 2, 249-foot par 3 over water pretty much the entire way. So obviously that always adds a little bit of a mental element, but 249 feet should be no problem for you guys.
Yeah, and this one's pretty straightforward. The wind, again, I think it was ripping right to left from what I remember. I'm going with an A3 sidearm, just trying to poke it into the hill. And that's almost a death putt right there. Right behind the basket, only 12 feet or so is the water line.
And did they move this basket closer to the water? I feel like I remember it being on the other side of the rocks.
Yeah, and if you saw the white PVC pole that was in the ground behind, like back left of this basket, that's previously where it was. Much easier because you didn't have to deal with the water. As we watch Matt Dollar right there give it a nice little ace run.
Skip. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and that ended up being safe. And that was almost the play, just to throw it hard and near the waters, literally skipping off the water, just to go right up onto the basket, because it was really easy to fly past it and skip back, because we watched Colin get a nice little kickback from the rock.
Yeah, those rocks looks like they're serving like a nice little backboard for a couple of these shots. Jared floating it up there, and he skips on over the rocks just as I say that. So he'll truly have a death putt. Parks the old position there.
Yeah, and the camera angle doesn't show it, but if he panned even 2 feet to the right, you would see the lake. And there it is,
wow.
Right there. It was a great putt by Jared. You can't really see too much. There's no leaves on the trees out there, but again, the wind is swirling. That's a really good putt.
You are with the rocks in your footing there.
And for me, running out a putt like that early in the round, I don't want to get in too much trouble with going in the water, even though it is an easy hole and you'd love to pick up the birdie, but missing short or if I could get that one to trickle in, it would have been nice.
Colin looks like he pulled his just a little bit left there. You can see the flag there next to his foot whipping.
Yeah, it's a good
He's
putt.
able to cut through there.
Nice little putt. It's always nice to make those comebacks. As Gibney's headed over to his disc boat that jumped across the water, up on the land, taking his meter.
Gibney got a lot of action. It was like skip off the water, skip off the hill, back towards the water, and stop.
Yeah,
and
he ended up
birdie.
being safe. Not a bad way to pick up a birdie. And Matt, too, had a great drive. I think he just got just like a little baby limp kick, kind of like kicking off the rock, and nice easy tap in for him.
Yeah, and that brings Matt to 2 under par through the first couple of holes. A good start for Matt as we roll into hole number 3. This is a bit of a longer one. What you got here?
It's 687 feet. The cart path on the left-hand side is out of bounds. The cart path behind the basket is out of bounds. There is a Mando on a tree on the right-hand side that we'll see here in just a minute. Players want to throw typically a fairly overstable disc. We're throwing into a straight headwind right now. They want to throw more of an overstable disc and get past that tee pad over there on the right. And of course, the farther and more left you can get, of course, avoiding that sidewalk on the left-hand side, the better it's going to be. We're watching Gibney throw his D2, which looks to be safe.
What a skip!
And then out. I couldn't believe that it took that phantom skip out of nowhere. And then you can see the wind just keep it up the whole time going across that path.
Just teasing him, having that thing stand up and roll and hang out there.
And Jared's known for one of the longest throwers, especially in Southeast, maybe out there competing with some of the longest players on tour. And I think this one got over on him a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
So there's that Mando right there. It did end up to where he did not miss the Mando off the tee. He was right in line with it, but he did not miss the Mando.
That's good. And you kick off the tee pad there.
Yeah, that was one of my most overstable D1s. I wanted to just make sure to not end up going left. As I saw Gibney's kind of float over there to the left and skip and go OB. I wanted to just make sure to stay safe. Same thing with Colin, I'm sure. He's just looking to stay safe over there. And even though it's 687 feet, the positioning off the tee makes it to where you can either attack the basket on your second shot going to kind of play for par.
Yeah, it looks like Colin not left with much of an option, but to just play for par there, keeping it safe down the middle.
Yeah, and I went with the same disc on my second shot here, 400G D1. You want to get around that tree. Ended up being a little short.
No help on the ground play, but a good line on it. It just didn't skip at all.
Yeah, and Matt's got a decent line here to get up to the basket. You can go with that inside route like he just did, but you have to have so much forward penetration compared to going around the tree. You've got to get a little bit further left. And I think that Gibney's also going for that wide hyzer shot. It's pretty windy right now. For what I remember, it was just kicking right to left.
Oh, Gibney almost goes Opie deep again, but is saved.
So here's Jared on the other fairway, just kind of pitching over. He's got to make that Mando to the left.
Yeah, fortunate that he didn't miss it, but obviously with someone who's got so much power, it kind of stinks that he had to pitch over and then take his par. He's probably one of the people that could most easily get a birdie on this one.
Yeah, so Colin is tossing his upshot up there near the basket, just trying to look for a par. I'm looking about a 25-footer here. Three, looking like the same type of putt on the previous hole. Gibney with the, I don't remember if he hit the tree coming in, but he was really close, within 5 feet of that cart path on the backside.
He just gets it a little bit low, too. Unfortunate hole for Gibney there.
Yeah, Colin looking to clean up the par here. Nice putt.
Nice little putt there.
Colin's got that nice spin putt right out of his hand. Plays well for a little bit windy days.
Yeah, for sure. Just cuts through it.
Jared saving his par after almost missing the Mando. And the Mando is kind of one of those things. If he missed the Mando, he would have taken a drop, basically where his second shot was, anyways. So Matt with that nice birdie, nice pick up there, getting the first 3. It's always a good start.
Turkey.
I think that this is the longest hole on the course. It's one of a few par 4s out here. You do see a lot of players get in trouble with that OB on the left and just kind of not take into account the wind.
Thanks to Auburn Opelika Tourism. They were the main sponsor for the tournament, and I believe the coverage as well, so huge shout out to them. As you see the beautiful sights that we have here.
Yeah, and also shout out to Valley and Rocket with their song Winnebago. Definitely a cool little jam for this disc golf video. You got to check them out. Look them up on YouTube.
Disc golf banger.
As we're headed on to hole number 4. Very similar distance to the last hole, but a completely different layout of the hole. A lot of players are either going to go fairway driver or mid-range. They're trying to stay very straight, maybe a tad bit left. This basket position is completely different compared to previous years. Usually the basket is near the water on the short right-hand side of the lake, but now the basket is long left on a little bit of a peninsula with the road on the left coming into play a lot more this year.
Yeah, and you see Jared bringing it into play, and it looks like he stayed on the green grass there.
Yeah,
he definitely brought that road into play.
He is hugging the out of bounds. And I don't know if he was wanting to play on that left-hand side. I know for me, I want to stay kind of high on this hole. Not as short as that ended up being. That's not a great spot to be. Yeah, that was a crazy roll. I went with a mid-range off the tee. I want to stay pretty high just so I can easily attack the basket with a nice spike hyzer as we're watching Colin's disc appear? That's a good position right there. That's a good example of where you want to be. You can see the basket. You've got good footing. Kind of that good distance to have a nice, easy spike hyzer to the basket.
Gibney looks to be kind of in that same area there as Colin. Both nice controlled shots, and they'll definitely have the best footing out of anybody.
Yeah, and again, I'm going with that 400 GD1. I remember it being a pretty strong left to right, if I remember correctly. And again, not a bad spot to be. I'm looking at about a 20-footer, if I remember, 20 to 25. And this is a good look at what the casual second shot should be, or should look like, with that water on the right. And those trees, I should mention, are out of bounds. You can kind of see the flags right there. Colin landed on the other side of them, so it's just the circle of trees right there. So kind of in the back of the player's head, they want to make sure to keep it wide right and don't let it go early.
Nice high shot there from Gibney.
Yeah, that was a great shot there by Gibney.
A really nice shot there. Dollar choosing to go all the way back around the wide side there, and it just doesn't look like it had the height or the angle to really come back towards the basket there.
Yeah, I was a little surprised to see him go that way instead of the Anheuser approach. Of course, there is that road on the left, and the basket is on the Peninsula, so it's a really tough landing for this pin position. And Jared got all the way up there, and this is potentially why he decided to go on that left-hand side, but he got all the way up there. He's just tossing a putter up to the basket is what it seemed.
Dollar pitching out of the woods there. Should be able to get up and down for his par. Colin with a long step putt straight uphill. Is it a good bid?
Yeah, not a bad run. Again, you can see that hill slanting down to the left. It goes pretty quick down to the bottom, so players are always going to kind of second guess running these putts.
And there's a good putt there. I mean, missed the last couple, but obviously staying clean with pars on the scorecard and putting a birdie on the board now.
Yeah, and here's Colin with that comebacker from his step putt. Nice pick up there. It's always good. The cold, windy days, the 18-footer becomes very rewarding whenever you end up making it.
Yeah. Oh, and Jared looks like maybe a little high left for him, and it doesn't stick. Can't convert on the long drive there.
Yeah, I think it was just high left, and of course being right hand, just kind of gets that spin and kick out to the left, unfortunately. And Gibney, with probably the best tee shot and best second shot, picks up the birdie as well.
Yeah, it looks like he played it textbook. Exactly what you want to do. Maybe not be in the trees, but he was close enough to where that's pretty routine there. Dollar still out front with a 3 down. You with 2, Michael at 1, and then Jared and Colin at even. As we head into hole number 5, looks a little bit more wooded than the last couple. What are you looking to do here on hole 5?
Yeah, so this is 275 feet. You start to get into the really tight shots coming up. This is kind of the teeth of the course, if this course has any teeth, because it's easy to hit early off the tee and it's hard to scramble to the basket. So it's a little bit of a different look when you're down on the tee pad, because those 4 trees on that short left-hand side come into play a lot, because a lot of players are trying to throw hyzer out of their hand, trying to get it to flip up. I went with a 300 PA4 on that and got a little tree love and sat right by the basket, fortunately.
Here's Gibney. Looks like he's going just a little bit faster than a putter with the shape that he's got in his hand there. Also looking to do that nice little hyzer flip. Came out a little low, and a lot of pine straw on the ground, so I would imagine that there's a lot of room to slide.
Yeah.
Going a little bit wide again.
Yeah, and that's a pretty common shot on this hole. It's such a tough angle to hit just with the slight hyzer out of your hand, and that's kind of like the well-known trash can on the course because it's just so easy to do an early release. Just the way the trees are lined up on that right-hand side right next to the tee pad, and then the trees lined up over there on the left. The disc has to flip pretty quick out of your hand as Colin got, wow, that was a really unfortunate bounce from a stump or something on the ground. It looked like it was going to be 20 feet away and ended up going straight left 20 feet. So looking to have about a 30-footer or so.
There's Dollar stretching out. And this is a really touchy shot because you've got trees on both sides, and obviously he pulls it a little bit, trying to avoid that left side wall of trees, and ends up just hitting that right side. So already apparent that it's pretty tough to scramble on the tight holes on this course.
Yeah, there's only one way to get to this basket, and that is down this tunnel. You see some players try to flirt around with going up high, maybe like a thumber approach, or I even see him throw the old Scooby upside down. But once you get about 70% up this fairway, I see a lot of players go with the old jump putt layup, try to slide it up there with the pines, like you said, the pine needles on the ground, because you do get a lot of ground action on this hole.
Yeah, I could be forced to lay up there as well, probably giving it a little bit of a run. Colin looking at a step putt after the kick.
Yeah, and I think he had to go just a little bit around a tree to where it just made it just that much more difficult.
Really nice putt there from Dollar to clean up the bogey. I mean, obviously hitting first available on your upshot and going backwards is not ideal, and is able to just keep his cool and get the bogey and move on as you're collecting the birdie there.
Yeah, on this hole for me, I like to go with that PA4 slight hyzer because it flips fairly quick, and I can put a good amount of hyzer on it to get it to go straight. It's only 270 feet, but those early trees really come into play if you don't hit your line exact. We're headed on over to hole number 6. 230 feet, pretty straightforward. I would say the trouble on this one, you do see players just pull it a tad to the right. Again, it's just all about the angle of release. You'll watch as players do throw a slight hyzer. Some go with a kind of like a baby flex forehand. I'm going with that same PA4 slight hyzer release, trying to get it to go super straight and dig into the hill.
Looking nice. And sits nice and softly there on the hillside. Another good shot there. Here's Gibney. Looking to do something similar. A little bit more of a hyzer release out of his hand, but floats on nicely towards the basket.
That's the way to play it. Just a little bit of a hyzer. As we're watching Jared here. And he throws it just a tad too high, and I think the wind got underneath this, and he just took off.
Yeah, and you definitely want to sit close like you and Gibney are doing, just because this green looks so tough. Calling a little bit low, bringing those trees into play. But you're on a hillside, and any putt that doesn't stick definitely has roll-away potential.
Yeah, and Matt almost got that putter to flip over. It was a really good line. It's pretty easy to let these shots kind of filter. The shadow
a run for Colin.
Shadow made that. As Jared tries to run at it, it seems like, and just gets a little bit of a roll away. Not too bad on this hole. I've seen some long rollaways on this.
Tough putt there from Dollar. It looks like it hit the pole.
Hit the pole. That's about as good as you could get on basically a death putt right there. And that was a really good putt by Dollar. Not a great catch by the basket.
Great putt there from Jared to save his par. Doesn't get punished too badly for being aggressive. Still gets the par. Here's your birdie look. Tap in range.
Yeah, and Colin looking to tap in these as well, looking down at the basket. These downhill putts are always nice to have because it's really just about releasing the disc. You don't even really need too much power on it.
Gibney should be collecting a birdie as well. Dropping one in the bank. Does so.
It's a great drive right there. Always nice to have.
Dollar making sure that the basket catches that one. I don't think there's many issues with those.
As we're headed to hole 7, 285 feet, par 3. Average is just below par. Again, this is a little bit kind of like the teeth of the course, I guess you could call it that. The hole is not difficult, but coming up, you do want to be able to get these birdies and really score on them as much as you can. So you see a lot of players. For myself, I go flex forehand with an A3. If you can see that gap in the trees in the distance, the basket is right in there. But the tree line, you kind of have to penetrate through just a little bit as you see my shot go through just a tad and stop right there by the basket. Some players go with this backhand. I think the common mistake here is to go early right to where it's really difficult or you just don't have a look at the basket.
Gibney looking for a hyzer flip. Doesn't quite flip for him and stays straight, and then hyzers out into the wood line there.
Yeah, it kind of sounded like it even kicked left too, just from the noise of it.
And that looked like a really nice angle there from Jared. I mean, hit it straight towards that gap in the trees, and fortunately it filters through and doesn't get kicked out, so he's going to have a good look at it.
Yeah, it's always fun to have a little plinko shot come down, and then when you walk up to the basket, find out that it's by the basket.
Colin looks like for the second hole in a row, just a little bit low, not quite getting the height that he needs.
Through the gap.
Dollar pulls his on over, but is fortunate to get through that bushy tree and should have a pretty standard approach.
Yeah, I feel like if Dollar was only an inch to the left, he would have had a great shot right there. I think it would have worked out really well. Because I see a lot of players, whenever they're throwing backhand, really kind of play with that tree up there to the right as we watch Dollar take a run at it.
Gibney just trying to putt through the prison bars there and is able to get up there. Should be a pretty easy par there for him as Dollar with the comebacker just off the top of the cage.
Yeah, and these pine needles will really do some damage on your missed putts or upshots because going downhill like this, it just takes off and slides going downhill. There's not too much stuff grabbing your disc unless you're either getting the bottom of a tree or a root or something like that. But obviously right there we kind of saw it with Dollar's putt coming downhill.
Nice easy birdie there for Jared. Colin and Gibney cleaning up pars. And then Dollar will take the unfortunate bogey there. That gives you a 5 under and a 3-stroke lead over Gibney. Huge thanks to FlighTowel for helping sponsor the coverage. They definitely make an awesome product. Help keep your disc clean and dry. Hole number 8, 410-foot par 3. Looks like it's pretty uphill. Plays just above par. So what's the tough part of this one?
Yeah, and this is one of those tough par 3s. You're not going to see a lot of 2s on this hole. There might have been 2 or 3 during the whole tournament. But it is difficult because of the trees right out of the gate on the right-hand side there. So you can't really throw anything direct at the basket. You got to keep it pretty wide left to right. And if you don't get the right angle on the disc, it is going in the road. I see a lot of people also try to turn it over too much, where it turns into a roller, accidental roller, of course, and then getting to that roadside. As we're watching Jared kind of go with a safe sidearm, trying to just stay on top of the hill. I'm a little surprised by the sidearm on this from Jared because I think he could throw a fairway driver and get up there for a putt.
Gibney looks like he got up there a good ways. Hits the ground before he kicks off a tree, so no harm done there. Colin also looking like he's sliding safely onto the ground, and looks like it'll be a long look for him.
That's a great shot right there by Colin. To land it flat on top of the hill is ideal.
Yep.
And that looked like was it an on-purpose roller?
Yeah. He says he likes to go roller on this. It gets him almost pin high, and it almost skateboard rail grinded off of the sewer drainage, whatever you call that, right there. And he comes back in bounds, and I think he was pin high with that.
Good shot there from Dollar, giving himself easy up and down, and Jared going forehand. You're not going to see that on a lot of holes from Jared.
Yeah, and that is a tough look with that. You can't even see the ground over there to the left, as he ended up hitting early and then just happened to toss an approach shot up there.
Gibney laying out for it. He wants it.
Could be something.
That's what you got to do. Got to want it. This is just one of those ranges where you're not going to make a lot of them, and especially with all the trees and that hill over there on the left, you just kind of want to toss it up there to the hole.
Yeah, and it looks like, again, this hole played slightly over par, so, if you're taking your 3 here, you're getting strokes on people and avoiding some issues, so Colin just not quite getting it high enough again to give it a run.
He had a good look. To be up there just to have a 40-footer is nice.
Roller paying off there for Dollar too. Easy tap in par.
There you go, Colin.
Sinking that comebacker, a good par there for Colin.
And those are always good putts to make. Kind of confidence builders, 15, 20 feet. Gives you the same confidence to be able to run at that 40, 50 footer that he previously had.
It definitely gives you a license to be more aggressive if you're making all your comebackers. No one grabbing the elusive 2 on this one. Jared taking the 4. Everyone else taking the par. Gibney showing off the clean bottom stamp there.
All right, that's through hole 8. So we're looking at hole number 9. This one says 368 feet, par 3, but you can see that average of 4 on this hole. It is very difficult to get to the basket. I would say it's not possible to get to the basket on one shot. The play is really to get up to the left to where you can have this downward shot to the basket. Kind of like a short putt, honestly, because you're just looking to go straight downhill and land towards and at the basket. I'm going with an A3. I want to skip up to the left and then have that angle down towards the basket.
Looks like he just clipped a tree that prevented that skip to the left. Maybe going a little bit higher.
Yeah, and you'll see a lot of players, they either go backhand. I think he went with a PA4 on that and tried to just put an extreme hyzer. But you do see a lot of people do that, and then it flips too straight. And then luckily he did get a little bit of a kick out.
And that right side just really gobbling him up right now. No one getting enough of that hyzer angle. And here's was intended to be maybe it was intended to be a cut roller.
Yeah, I think he was. We were talking about it after he threw that shot. He said that seemed like the only way to actually get towards the basket. He had a great angle on it. Again, there's really only one route to get towards this pin, as we just watched Jared go out of the fairway to the open area.
It looks like Jared was chasing a different basket there.
Yeah, and you can see that route, the tunnel where my disc is kind of going down right now. The basket is even more tucked over to the right. That was at
Really
PA4.
nice shot.
That was at PA4 once again. Just nice, smooth, slow Anheuser.
Gibney going with that same type of shot. Landing it above the basket so it can slide down towards it.
Yeah, and I watch a lot of players on this. They try to run at their putts, or they had too much air underneath their upshots, and you can go past the pin on this pretty fast.
That dollar. Putting just a little touch on it, and should be up there. Jared
Yeah,
comes back onto the right hole there.
You said it perfect on the other hole, just trying to get through the jail of trees. As Matt actually ended up being shorter. I think that his roller ended up getting caught early, and then his upshot ended up hitting one of those small pines. And when you're putting for par from 60 feet downhill, it's a tough position to be in. But I guess not for Colin, as he pops it in there.
Bold putt there from Colin, and he drains it.
Yeah, this one, even though it says par 3, it is most certainly par 3.5, if that's a way to do it. Par 3.5 to par 4. I don't think I heard of anybody even having to look for a 2 on this hole. Pretty difficult.
Yeah, a lot of you guys seem to have had really standard, straightforward 3s, but no real looks at 2, so I'd say 3.5. About right. And after 9 holes, holding it down.
Yeah, just playing clean and getting the shorter birdies out there, making a couple putts as we're headed into hole number 10, which also has a new basket location. It is 232 feet, averaging a little bit less than par on that 2.7, as a lot of the holes out here do play on that range. The basket is back left compared to where it used to be. You'll see a lot of players throw slight hyzer. They do want it kind of to push straight off the tee and then have that late fade or maybe even a little bit of a skip towards the basket.
Have another birdie putt there. Gibney nice and easy on his as well. Slides on up there. It sounds like the Parks and Rec department are going to be busy down there in Opelika with these new baskets and pin positions on this course, and I heard 2 new courses were being approved and are in the works in the area as well. So a lot of disc golf coming to Opelika.
Yeah, Opelika is really excited for disc golf, especially for the next couple years and the potential of these new courses coming in. Huge shout out to their Parks and Recreation. They do an amazing job taking care of this course and to hunt down more opportunities for courses. I think that's one of the hardest things to do. As we watch Matt throw a really nice shot right there, and Jared looks to have a little bit of a longer approach. Or I should say longer putt. Good line on it. It's always a little tougher to run at it whenever you got some foliage behind the basket that you probably would have to deal with.
You are just right of the basket, having to straddle around these little trees there. Right on the orange tape.
Birdie.
Tweet, tweet. Good birdie there. Colin having to deal with the same trees at a different angle.
Yeah, this is a good look at the putt that Colin has. Yeah, it's tough, especially with that tree short left of the basket right there. I know Colin likes to kind of put a little flat at it, so I don't know if that tree on that short left got in his head or not.
Gibney with the easy birdie. Yeah, and I mean, Colin's making all his comebackers. He's given himself, the ability to run putts no matter how tough. So, hopefully those birdie putts start dropping for him. As Dollar picks up the birdie there. That's a good hole for Dollar. Just had a couple struggles coming into hole 10, and hopefully a birdie gets him back on track.
Yeah, we're headed into the next couple holes are brand new. They've had to add these for the tournament. I don't know if they're staying permanently for this course. It'll be interesting to see next year, as we are probably be commentating on this as well. So we're headed into the brand new hole number 11, 265 feet. It's actually averaging slightly over par, just 3.09, so just a little bit. You can tell it is very tight. This is kind of the mantra for the next 3 holes that you're going to watch people play. On this, you're going to see people throw a variety of shots. Really, those last 2 trees make up the shot selection. And those last 2 trees kind of making it to where you can't go with a backhand hyzer flip because it is kind of tucked a little bit to that right-hand side. I went with an A3 again. You'll see me throw that a lot coming up in the next couple holes. And for me on this, I just want to get off the tee with a clean drive and give myself, within 50, 60 feet on a really tight shot like this.
Wow, Gibney does go with that backhand shot and pinballs on up there towards the basket. Looks like he went down that right side. Is there a little bit of a gap over there?
There is and there isn't. I think they built this hole just a little bit before the tournament started, as we watched Matt go for a thumber that just turned maybe a little bit too early. But there's a little bit of room. You're kind of just poking around over there trying to find something as Colin hits probably the most hit tree on the hole, is that big one right in the center.
Pop after that.
Jared goes a little bit early. Leaves himself left.
Yeah, and you'll see people, it was a struggle just to walk to this pin. There was a lot of rain on this course for the last couple days, and this hole and the next 2 ended up flooding out pretty good as we watched Jared go with the outside in flick, little forehand ultimate approach.
Colin looks like he's dealing with a down tree and throws a beautiful shot.
Yeah, we thought that
really
shot was
nice.
going in from where we were watching him throw. It looked like it was right on target.
You did end up with a look, that little flex forehand, and converting again. Who is this man?
Feeling good. Definitely getting a couple of the birdies is nice.
Oh, get the So Blue replay. Yes, sir.
Yeah, look at that sunlight. What a great job, Andy.
Oh, no. You're catching the nubs.
I think he's been so focused on the TV.
Good comeback by Dollar and Colin tapping in their pars.
Good shot there from Gibney. That was a tight fairway that he maneuvered through deftly.
Yeah, I even set it off the tee pad. I didn't think that the backhand was the play, but Gibney showed me that it is possible. Just got to believe.
Way to go, Gibney.
Hit the gap.
Proving people wrong since I don't know what year you're born.
1929.
Works for me.
All right, headed into that is first round, part 1, 2020 Frostbite Open. You got Will Schusterick, myself, Michael Gibney, Matt Dollar, Colin Forehand, Jared Neal. This is Will Schusterick and Idris Garcia doing some social distancing commentary for you. This 2020 Frostbite Open is presented by the Auburn Opelika Tourism. Huge shout out to them and the sponsors that go along with this video and the tournament. Idris, you got any last words for part 1?
No, man. We'll see you guys on the back.